pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. Here I am with my January book haul. This will be the last formal book haul I'll be doing for a few months because I have no money for books in the next few months. Not until maybe May. So I might be able to scrimp and save a little bit to buy the odd Kindle book or whatever, and I'll fold that kind of a mini book haul stuff into my Friday reads because there ain't going to be much for the next few months. But I did have a pretty good month in January before the funds ran dry. As most of you know, I'm getting married in August, and Kenji and I are moving into a new apartment in June, and we have to save so much money for all that adult stuff. So without further ado, here I go. There was a book sale at Kinokuniya, the big bookstore at Shinjuku Station that has a wonderful English section. This is for those of you that care. It's the one by the south exit. So I got 4 books there on January 2nd or something. First was Music and Silence by Rose Tremaine. I read her The Gustav Sonata last year and loved it, and apparently, according to many a reader, this is her best novel. So this is set in the early 17th century about a young English lutenist who goes to King Christian IV's court in Holland to be part of his royal orchestra. All the adventures he has there. I'm only going to read opening sentences or paragraphs if they kind of have a standalone brilliance to them, and this one doesn't. But I've heard that this is a really, really good novel. So this is also going to be an announcement of a bail, but I did buy this Compass by Matthias Inar, French novel that's on the, isn't it the Republic of Consciousness Prize? Translated by Charlotte Mandel. And this is a Blame It on Peg from Peg the Book Prize Addicts channel, because I looked at this in December, read page 112, didn't like it, so I didn't buy it, but Peg said, "Oh, I looked at page 112, it's not representative. You should really get it." So I got it, and then today I've looked at it more, and I just don't think this is going to be for me. So I feel really negative about it. No, don't worry, Peg, no hard feelings. I'll be able to find a good home for it. But I don't mind the opening paragraph that I'm going to read, but just flipping through it. So it's set in Vienna. The protagonist is an insomniac musicologist reflecting on the Middle East. And most of the paragraphs are more than a page long. That's not my favorite thing. And it looks very Proustian. I don't think it's going to be for me. I don't mind this opening paragraph, though. What do you guys think of it? It's a one-sentence paragraph that's quite lengthy. "We are 2 opium smokers, each in his own cloud, seeing nothing outside, alone, never understanding each other. We smoke, faces agonizing in a mirror. We are a frozen image to which time gives the illusion of movement, a snow crystal gliding over a ball of frost, the complexity of whose intertwinings no one can see. I am that drop of water condensed on the window of my living room, a rolling liquid pearl that knows nothing of the vapor that engendered it, nor of the atoms that still compose it, but that soon will serve other molecules, other bodies, the clouds weighing heavy over Vienna tonight. Over whose nape will this water stream, against what skin, on what pavement, towards what river, and this indistinct face on the glass is mine only for an instant, one of the millions of possible configurations of illusion. Look! Herr Gruber is walking his dog despite the drizzle. He's wearing a green hat and his eternal raincoat. He avoids getting splashed by the cars by making ridiculous little leaps on the pavement. The mutt thinks he wants to play, so it leaps towards its master and gets a good clout the second it places its dirty paw on Herr Gruber's trench coat. Despite everything, he manages to reach the road to cross. His silhouette is lengthened by the streetlights, a blackened pool in the midst of the sea of shadows of the tall trees, ripped apart by the headlights along the Porzellengasse. And Herr Gruber seems to think twice about plunging into the Alsergrund night, as I do about leaving my contemplation of the drops of water, the thermometer, and the rhythm of the trams descending toward the Schottentor. Okay, that was a bit overdone for me. This is not a page 112 tag, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but it's good. It's bloated and pretty grammatically. What did you think of the grammar and all that punctuation? I didn't think it was. I think it was a lot of grammatical problems, I thought. Anyway, interesting, but probably not for me. Anybody got something to trade this for me? It does match my shirt, though. Love you, Peg. This one I'm really excited about. This was a Eric Carl Anderson buy. He named this one of his top reads of 2017. And I had been put off by the title. This is a maybe collection of essays or a memoir by the Chinese-American writer Yian Li. Dear friend, from my life, I write to you in your life. I have to admit, I find that title so inane. But it's actually a quote from, I believe, Flannery O'Connor. Began one of her letters that way, but I just think it's really stupid. Of course, I'm writing to you in your life from my life. Like, it just... but Eric, putting all that aside, Eric really sold me on it. Yian Li chronicling a time of deep depression in her life and how reading and her love of literature helped lift her out of that. So, I haven't read anything by Yian Li, so I'm very much looking forward to reading this. And it's a beautiful hardcover book. No dust jacket, just this. It's lovely. And this was a Russell buy, although other people have been talking about it, but Ties by the Italian writer Domenico Starnoni, translated by Jhumpa Lahiri. Can I just digress? The jacket copy, the blurb on the inside dust jacket. So this is about a marriage, okay? There's not much else here. It's a marriage on the rocks. But this line... Domenico Starnoni's 13th work of fiction is a powerful short novel about relationships, family, love, and the ineluctable consequences of one's actions. Those kinds of sentences on book jackets or back covers make me want to throw up. What novel isn't about that? That's why I never read. I don't usually read. I've started reading them to do my book hauls, but usually I don't read what it's about because that kind of propaganda is just garbage. But the book is supposed to be good, and forget about that now. Listen to the opening paragraph. In case it slipped your mind, dear sir, let me remind you, I am your wife. I know that this once pleased you, and that now, suddenly, it chafes. I know you pretend that I don't exist, and that I never existed, because you don't want to look bad in front of the highbrow people you frequent. I know that leading an orderly life, having to come home in time for dinner, sleeping with me instead of with whomever you want, makes you feel like an idiot. I know you're ashamed to say, look, I was married on October 11th, 1962, at 22. I said I do in front of the priest in a church in the Stella neighborhood, and I did it for love. Nothing forced me into it. Look, I have certain responsibilities, and if you people don't know what it means to have responsibilities, you're petty. I know. Believe me, I know. But whether you like it or not, the fact remains. I am your wife, and you are my husband. We've been married for 12 years, 12 years in October, and we have 2 children, Sandro, born in 1965, and Anna, born in 1969. Do I need to show you their birth certificates to shake some sense into you? So, this cover says a lot, doesn't it? And that opening paragraph sure has already succeeded in sucking me in. So, jacket copy aside, I'm very much looking forward to reading this. And this was my last purchase from Book Depository until spring. And boy, am I excited about it. Ali Smith's Winter. I have the same edition of the... Is it there? Oh, I've moved it, but I have the same edition for the autumn one, and people that loved autumn say this is better. I think I've heard that almost consistently, so I loved autumn, so I can't wait. I might get to this in February, but certainly very soon. It's such a physically beautiful book, and it's like it doesn't even open. It's so new, and I hate even... Like, I kind of want to read it like this, so I don't keep that virgin spine. So, this is how I'm reading you the first sentence. It's a very short one. God was dead, to begin with. 4 left, and these are my birthday book haul. My birthday was about 10 days ago, and a good friend gave me a couple books, and my cousin gave me a couple books. My friend Electra, who is a subscriber, this is one of the ones she gave me. This is an Australian writer, Tsiolkas. The Slab. It came out in 2008. It's been out for a decade. Shortlisted for the Man Booker in 2010. So you guys most of you probably know about this book. All I know about it is that it's about a kid who is misbehaving at a suburban barbecue, and he is disciplined. A man slaps him, and the man is not his father. And all hell breaks loose, and that is the premise of the novel. So it sounds absolutely fascinating. Tsiolkas is a gay writer, and I've heard really good things about his short stories from Simon Savage. This will be my first by him. I'm not comfortable saying the C word on BookTube. I say the S word in almost every video, and the F word with some regularity, but I can't quite bring myself to say the C word, so I'm only going to read you the first half of this opening paragraph, and you can read the rest when you buy the book or when you get the book. His eyes still shut, a dream dissolving and already impossible to recall. Hector's hand sluggishly reached across the bed. Good. Aish was up. He let out a victorious fart, burying his face deep into the pillow to escape the clammy methane stink. I don't want to sleep in a boys' locker room, Aisha would always complain on the rare, inadvertent moments when he forgot himself in front of her. Through the years he had learned to rein his body in, to allow himself to only let go in solitude, farting and pissing in the shower, burping alone in the car, not washing or brushing his teeth all weekend when she was away at conferences. It was not that his wife was a prude. She just seemed to barely tolerate the smells and expressions of the male body. And there are 3 more sentences and 2 occurrences of the C word, and I just can't read them! But I'm really looking forward to reading this. The other one that Electra gave me is by the Turkish novel Orhan Pamuk, Silent House. I don't know about this novel, but I'm certainly familiar with him, a Turkish writer. And this novel, it was his second, translated by Robert Finn. And it's about a Turkish family just before a military coup in 1980. I've never read any Orhan Pamuk. How weird is it that as I'm talking about the book that Electra gave me, I just got a Facebook message from her. Hi, Electra! And these 2 my cousin gave me. This is an Angolan novel by one of the most popular Portuguese language writers in the world. A General Theory of Oblivion by José Eduardo Agualusa. And I've heard really good things about this, and as I told Lindsay, actually, I already had this book in another edition. This is the Archipelago Books edition. It's the same translator. I have not been very good at mentioning this. They're both translated by Daniel Hand, so the 2 editions. So I said to Lindsay, I like this one better. It's so colorful. So I'm going to give Lindsay this one, and we're going to buddy read it, and maybe we'll make a cousinly video on BookTube. This is about a woman who bricks herself into her apartment on the eve of Angolan independence and remains there for 30 years. And I love the opening paragraph. Ludovica never liked having to face the sky. While still only a little girl, she was horrified by open spaces. She felt, upon leaving the house, fragile and vulnerable, like a turtle whose shell had been torn off. When she was small, 6, 7 years old, she was already refusing to go to school without the protection of a vast black umbrella, whatever the weather. Neither her parents' annoyance nor the cruel mockery of the other children deterred her. Later on, it got better, until what she called the accident happened, and she started to look back on this feeling of primordial dread as something like a premonition. I seriously am having trouble putting this book down to finish this video. So if anybody's interested in doing a buddy read with me and my cousin, won't be anytime soon, but maybe later this year, put a comment below. And the other book that Lindsay gave me is by her favorite writer, certainly as a child, Roald Dahl. And this is the collected short stories, volume 1, which is 600 pages. And I don't know how many volumes there are, but this one goes up to 1953, so there's probably, I don't know, There's at least one more, obviously. And I have never read anything by him. I think I read the Willy Wonka and all those, some of those as a kid. Okay, this is an addendum. It's actually the next day, but just so you wouldn't notice it was the next day, but I just told you I put on the same old shirt from yesterday because last night a package was delivered, so I have 3 more books to haul. And these books come from Leah. I think her channel used to be called Hide and Seek, but maybe she's just renamed it her name, Leah, but Leah of Hide and Seek. And I don't know how she and I found each other, but in December, maybe, she sent me a message through Goodreads, and she had not started up her channel yet. So I'm still not sure whether she found me through BookTube or Litzy. I don't know. But out of the blue, she offered to send me a book that she didn't want to keep, and it was a gay novel from Australia. And I said, sure, but don't send it until after I get back from Christmas, and let me peruse your Goodreads TBR and find something that I can trade you for. And I sent her Karl Geary's Irish novel Montpelier Parade, a book that I liked but not well enough to keep, so I was quite happy to trade with her. And this package from Leah just arrived last night. I love Leah's BookTube channel, and she just started out of the gate with a finesse and a poise and a polish that just was incredibly enviable. But more than being enviable, her channel is a delight to watch, and she doesn't have nearly enough subscribers, so please go. I'll put a link in the show notes and check out her channel. And she does wonderful videos on Australian fiction as well as other literary fiction. And she's got a pretty handsome hubby too. There was just a Partners Book Tag video went up about 30 minutes ago. So this is the book she sent me, Down the Hume by Peter Polides, who I believe is a Australian writer of Greek descent. A violent, drug-fueled story about lives in the shadowy corners of Western Sydney. A novel of addiction, secrets, and misplaced love, and it's a debut novel. So I think the opening paragraph might set the tone. Before the sun got up, I had morning dreams filled with screaming babies. When I woke, it was just the cats fucking outside my bedroom window. I opened the window, took a deep breath of fresh air, but all I smelled was shit and cat sex. Alrighty then, well, I do look forward to trying it. Thank you, Leah. And that's Down the Hume by Peter Polides. And this is a funny story, so I don't want to make the video overly long, but Leah and I have gotten to be good BookTube buddies, and she proposed a buddy read of Julian Barnes' novel The Sense of an Ending, and I had said, well, I can't really commit to doing it until, because I'm so poor, I don't have money for even for the Kindle version of the book until May, but I could manage to scrimp and save enough last week to buy the Kindle, so then rescheduled the thing, and she was biting her tongue, I guess, because in fact she sent me a copy of this, so I've got it. So then she felt bad that I'd spent what little money I have on the book, but Amazon refunded it, so no worries. So now I get to buy another ebook, and I've got this beautiful softcover. So we're going to be doing a buddy read of this in a couple of weeks, I think. So thank you so much, Leah. That was a lovely surprise. And she sent me it's a literary journal from Australia called Quadrant. Poetry and fiction and book reviews, and maybe some articles. Oh yeah, theater, film, law, society, lots of stuff. So it looks really interesting, so thank you very much for that. And some Aboriginal Australian bookmarks, magnetic bookmarks. With the glare, I hope you could see it. I haven't opened it yet, but those look lovely too. So thank you very much, Leah. And now, everybody, as soon as this video stops, which is going to be 3 seconds from now, immediately go to Leah's channel, alright? Thanks for watching.